Well, it's time, everybody. I've made tier lists for Nasby, I've made tier lists for Smash, but it's time to do my first couple tier lists for Multiversus. So, let's get after it. So, today we're going to be doing, I see so many people doing 1v1 tier lists, and I'm sick of it. I I want to talk about twos. I love twos. I think that this game is intended for it, even if ones are better now. And that isn't to say I won't be making a week one multiversus tier list for 1v1s, but we're not posting it first. You're going to have to wait at least until tomorrow from when this video is posted. So let's get right into it. So I'm just going to start off. I think that Wonder Woman, really good character. Generally, the tier list, as we get into this, I'm not going to worry too much about order because, again, it's week one. Like, obviously, we've seen a lot from characters like Wonder Woman, Iron Giant already being banned. So, like, realistically, like, he's going to be in two, right? Wonder Woman, a really strong character. Her up B. I've seen that thing kill so early and in doubles, like those quick, like chips from your partner or their like quick 1-2, no matter who they are. You get them to like 20-30%, and depending on who they are, their weight wise, they might be able to die off the top of certain stages. Um, you've seen it in tournament, we've seen it in ones, and I imagine that's only going to get worse in twos, especially with like the roll canceling stuff and jab and whatnot. But she just has every tool in the book. She's super good. You see her a ton, even in ones and twos. So she's definitely up there with the greatest, right? Another one up there with the greatest, Bugs Bunny. I'd say Bugs is, especially double Bugs. Oh my freaking god, dude! Two Bugs is just, it's insane. Like, it's actually ridiculous. The stuff that you can do with him, like the double safe. Like, it's not that you're always gonna get that opportunity, but stuff like that. His projectiles are all super good. The kiss is a really good option when you're grounded to just stun somebody and get like a KO confirm or just get that stray hit. It pretty much confirms it, if you hit it. And in twos, it just creates, he's just so chaotic, right? He has all these options. Bat is really good at just either KOing or setting up into other things if it doesn't. Like, he just has so many options in twos that even if you only have one Bugs, it's still really good to have. Another really good option in twos, and I think that this isn't really too much of a surprise. And I will say, I think that twos and ones, for at least a little bit of it, are fairly, what's the word? Like, similar in tier lists, at least initially. There isn't too much, like, difference in comp and whatnot. But I will say Banana Guard is a solid pick for twos. He is a good, slightly heavy character. Giant disjoints, it's hard to touch him. He has high knockback even at low percents, so you can get your early kills or just push people away from your teammates, get people off your team if they're getting beat up. So he just has all these good options, like, right away, that for a week one character on a tier list, he's definitely higher up. Now, will he continue with the meta? I don't know. Especially in twos, it's really hard to say because it just genuinely seems like there's a lot of focus right now on ones. Granted, Rise of Multiversus and other events have been doing twos, and Rise definitely had a ton of entrants in it as well. So it's definitely not to say that there isn't events for it. And I also don't like, especially early on, caring about like week one, week two results. But it's still important to at least mention that there are tournaments running twos. It's not like nobody is, but like, it's hard to say, especially with the lack of ranked. There isn't much data to say, like, oh, like, this stage list is what we'd be going off of. So there's varying levels of, like, hey, we're using this one, we're using that one, So that also has a factor, in my opinion. Another one I would say is pretty good in twos is definitely Joker. Like, he's up there as well. Harley, I don't even know how I forgot about her. She's also up here, She might be a bit higher, too. She just has a really good starting there. Like, she gets a ton off of it. But Joker, like, he's just a monster of chaos, has a lot of projectiles, a lot of ways to stuff you out. And his projectiles, unlike other characters that I'll be talking about later on, while they still can be parried and with certain perks, you can still, like, reflect and really, like, negate the use of them. They aren't as important to his kit, and in twos, like with the right character partner and or just a partner, you know, it just creates way more unpredictability and more mix-ups and more potential for you to actually still get your projectiles, even if they have those perks enabled. So that's one thing to keep in mind, is even though like certain characters like Joker, like Bugs, have perks with projectile, or have projectiles that can be negated by projectile parry perks, like they still have these crazy tools that can still combo, can still KO, can still be used with other kits, right? And that's what I think makes 2s really exciting, is despite the maybe clear-cut nature of perks, it's really not as clear-cut as you'd expect it to be. So another character I think is really good in 2s that people aren't talking about is Arya. Arya is pretty much like Harley Quinn, Wonder Woman. Like, she has that crazy up air, really long, like wide hitting up tilt, you know. So she's gonna be able to scoop people up. She's gonna be able to kill early. She can zoom right to opponents as like a setup option or as a starting burst option, you know. So like situationally, she's going to be able to deal with and help out like team wise as good as other characters. So she's kind of a wild pick to put up there, but like not even taking like results or anything, because we haven't seen too much of Arya. I think she's like one of those hidden bosses that we're gonna be seeing in like week 3. But I know some people are complaining like about the buffer, you know, 30 frames. It's just hard to like have like agency and understand like when I should be throwing out my moves, you know. But all it comes down to is just stop mashing, dude. Like you'll get your combos if you don't mash, so you'll be fine. You can still be accurate. You just gotta get used to it, which is why I also say week 3. So if the Arya mains stick with her, you'll be fine after 3 weeks. Another decent character in 2s that I would say like doesn't really fall off at all, and I feel like this shouldn't surprise anybody, is Rain Dog. Like, Rain Dog has the loops, you know, their loops silly, but also just was good in MultiVersus 1 beta. But like 2 wise, they're always gonna be good, you know. A zoner, a character that can pull your opponents, you know, like you don't see them a lot yet. I think that in 1s you're seeing them just a little bit now, but they definitely are very good. I will say. Just trying to think. Another character I would say is not too bad in 2s, and this is I'm debating as whether I would put the character I'm thinking of in S or A. Or I guess top tier or high tier. I have 2 now that there's a lot of these characters. It's hard to say, honestly. There's so many characters that like I want to put in here. But I'll do one more, I guess. Because I don't know. Maybe they are. Although one of these definitely isn't. So. Alright, Finn. Finn, definitely a strong pick, you know. He's great in 1s. Backpack still really good for finishing off combos. Obviously, it's really good as a pickup from other partners, throwing them into it, you know. He has moving strongs, like slap or high five is still really good. You know, it's a moving option that's strong. Like, he has a lot of movement-based options, and in 2s when you can space properly, I feel like that's super valuable. He obviously is still a really good character. Like, kick is really good, brings you with, you know, like, super good options just generally. So I think he's going to be really strong, at least at the start. I don't think he's going to fall off too much or at all. But yeah, he's one of the ones I was putting up there. But I will say, maybe I'm capping, maybe I'm crazy. I just think that the rest of these up here are a lot crazier than him. Not like a lot, but enough to where that's why I was like gauging maybe I'm like wrong, you know? Another one I will say that I was hesitant to put, but I think I'm going to do it anyways for week 1, is I'm going to put Jason. Jason, big guy. Obviously, he can be comboed. Obviously, like, he has that revival perk or whatever it's called. Resurrection perk. That is, like, obviously, it's, like, finicky. Sometimes it feels really good and annoying. Sometimes it feels like he just is sabotaging himself by using it, you know? So, it's one of those things where it's, like, is it worth it? Maybe not. But the main thing that I think puts him with the pack is his up B. His up B kills super early. Obviously, it can be comboed into with other partners or even yourself if like you catch somebody. It's super strong, super 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 strong, and also stuff like he just has combos just generally. So if you catch somebody and like your opponent is just doing a 1v1, like you're gonna do fine. But like if you also have the opportunity to partner with your partner and actually do 2v2 stuff, he's gonna hang right with you. Like he has buffs, he has all this stuff that just makes you nuts, right? So I think he's a very solid pick for twos. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Starting off in A tier or high tier, Shaggy. Two Shaggies probably is a pain in the ass to deal with. Side special just means you can just fly all over the place. His forward air just seems to kill really strong. It's a really strong move, kill stuff really quick. Like those two options alone are really good. But on top of that, he has Dare, drags down loops, so you can have those loops with not only his own loops in 1v1s or like in a 1v1 situation, but for twos you can use that loop to just combo into like somebody else's setup that you have, whatever like partner it is. So like it could be a high damage string that loops into it. You could do that into his Dare. Like, God, he's so weird. And then he has his jab cancels. So you could like just like do a keep away thing where someone else, whoever your partner is keeping away, like whether it's a Taz or an Iron Giant or somebody with a grab that can kind of pause, or even Steven with his shield just block, opponent from helping out their partner while Shaggy just beats the shit out of them. Like it's hard to say what'll happen in that regard, but I think that he's still super strong. I think that he's somebody that initially I was saying like could be top tier, and maybe I'm capping by putting him this low. Let me know in the comments. I just think that for as explosive as he is, the rest of these characters, like obviously Jason for one is heavier. Shaggy, like not gonna be a situation where he like what's it called? He's not gonna get comboed too much, He's a smaller character, but yeah, like he's just so strong, So that's why he's here in high tier. But yeah, moving on here. This guy, Black Adam, really strong, and like it's just generally like really good bruiser. He has some stuff also with his lightning that just is. I mean, he's great in ones. Like he's a good character in ones. He's gonna be strong in twos. Like he's one of those characters that just like I don't see a ton of him in twos. But you see him enough, But he's not Wonder Woman strong where you just see Wonder Woman like all the time, I think there was like 16 of them. I don't know if that was a one. I think that was ones for Rise of Multiverses. There were 16 out of like in like top like 32 or something, 64, one of those by Rosebloom. So shouts to her. She always makes great lists with these big tournaments, So, who else? Who else? Who was I thinking of? I think Gizmo's up here. So I was gonna initially rate him lower, but I mean he still has like his Dare stuff. He still has like he doesn't have too many crazy projectiles. Like obviously his car, popcorn, slingshot, but like it's not like again, he's not somebody where as much as those are part of his kit, situations can be validated in twos. Like there's enough mix up to that I honestly don't think that the whole projectile perk thing is as crazy as people like are claiming it to be, So I just think that like a lot of people who are saying, "Oh, projectile perk, it's nerfing whoever," like calm down. It's not as bad as you think. So definitely a strong character, lots of chaos, very good, and I think like he adds a lot to twos. Like he has his own loops, his own Dare stuff. So it's just keeping people grounded and allowing your teammate to also help with damage or just KOing. It's a huge thing for him. But I don't think he's anywhere like these characters, Another one like that, Steven. Although I will say one big detriment to him in this is I think that for Steven's case, he's one of those characters where like you're gonna just like not have the ability to parry, and as nice as shield is, especially for your partner, we'll see like how that really affects him, because obviously there wasn't parry initially, there was dodge, so like, it was a whole different ball game. But stuff like his float, stuff like shield might be better. We'll see. I don't know. Honestly, I as weird as it is to say, I think that shield might be better in twos than it is in ones. Parry, it's obviously great to have that option to punish somebody, but I think in twos, like, that's gonna be more dangerous to go for it because there's gonna be two people. You're not gonna just always have the chance to hit a parry and punish somebody, you know, because a teammate might step in. So, it's hard to say early on like this, but I think he might be decent in terms of that alone in twos. Steven Universe character 2, Garnet, I forgot about her. Not really caring about order again, but like, I'll try to, but don't really take any particular order, especially as we get lower on this list, to heart. Garnet, she just has a couple weird bugs, you know? Like, I've seen some stuff where, like, I think it's her side special where she just flies at you and, like, hits you and all of a sudden you just die. I've seen a lot of weird bugs like that, and not, like, one or two, like, a ton on Twitter. I'll have to find some and link it, but very odd stuff, you know? So, it's just weird, like, the amount of shit that you see with her. And that's why I have her, like, kind of decently high in this high tier. It's like, for now, she's just bugged in a good way. She's not dying, she's not losing to herself, you know? But, like, she definitely has some nuts stuff, right? But yeah, that's all I honestly gotta say about that. Another great character, like, but not necessarily the greatest, Batman. I think he's pretty strong. He's a bruiser, but battering obviously can be useful, but maybe is negated a little bit by the parry thing, just solely because of the fact that it's just a slow moving projectile. But I think other stuff is really useful. Being able to move with your opponent with grapple hook is always gonna be useful, but it's obviously slower now, so it's not gonna be free to just get from one place to the other. People can actually hit you, but with the right perks, I've also been able to kill people off the top pretty early, especially comboing off of other people's moves and such. So I think that for him, like, early on, he's gonna be a great, easy character to pick up. Always gonna be at least somewhat strong, you know. So I think he's right at home. And speaking of right at home, I think another one in this list that's gonna be similarly placed is Superman. He is a bruiser. He's a lot slower, heavier, but I mean, he's got some stuff with freeze that's super annoying to have to deal with. And with the right pairing, I think, like, maybe a character like Wonder Woman, he's going to be able to do just fine. But he is obviously slow, comboable. He has a lot of recovery options, a lot of ways to fly in, a lot of ways to, like, get you off with his armor and with his laser as well, just being able to deal far away damage. So we'll see where he's at, but it's hard to say for sure. LeBron, it's hard to say. Like, I want to almost put him down here, but I don't think he's that bad. I don't know. Like, definitely hard to say. But, LeBron, he seems more ball-based now than combo-based. Like, he obviously has stuff, but, maybe I'll put him down here. Like, he just seems more ball-based than combo-based, and, like, he obviously has the infinite stuff, but, like, that, I don't know how common you're gonna get that situation in twos. So even if you get that, like, I'm imagining TOs will be banning that. Who knows? But assuming not, I'm not. This isn't me saying like he's mid tier with it and mid tier without it and high tier with it. That doesn't make sense. To me, I wouldn't rate him differently because of that, one way or the other. But that's where I have him for twos, I'd say. Bumping up back to high tier real quick. I think Morty, he's got like the bombs, you know, but I think that even though it's early on, I think that he has a lot of setups that can be used in twos, and he has a lot of good chemistry in my opinion, I think, with most of the cast, to where he's going to be useful. He might not be the best thing you can have, but he's still very, like, he's got a lot of strong options. I think his ceiling is going to explode up, even though there's a lot of characters that have pretty easy execution, which I think is this list here, and maybe Shaggy. Like, maybe. Like, like maybe, no, yeah. But like, I would say this is like where Morty's at. You know, he's got a lot of potential. I think he's definitely a good character, but I just think we'll have to see where he ends up at the end of the day for twos. Um, Rick, I would say, is down here for now. He's got potential like Morty, but I think that we just have to wait and see what he can do. Portal stuff, obviously, he has a signature perk allowing people to go through his, like, partner-wise, go through the portals, use projectiles through it, all that type of stuff. So maybe that's useful. It's hard to say for now, though. Yeah, like, obviously, like, it wasn't bad before, but, like, it just, I don't know. You don't see a lot of them just yet, and that's maybe just because the player base hasn't, like, figured him out or gotten used to him or whatnot. So I don't want to, like, say that. It's just, you don't see a lot, you don't hear a lot, but in my experience too, just playing him twos, there are just better options, you know. It's not even that he's like bad. Like he is not good, but I don't think he's bad necessarily. Tom and Jerry out here. Good character. Like, you know, pretty neutered from the beta with up tilt and roll cancel up tilt and up air. The tipper is just so tiny. Like I forgot I even had one. Because it just almost never happens. But he can control space very well with Jerry, and rockets are really good at just getting back off of ledge, you know? So he has options, but overall I'd say it's just, it's a tough out here. But I do think, he's better in twos than he is in ones, so if this is any indication of how good I think he is, it makes me sad, man. I'm not capping. Don't even start. You know what? Go ahead. Say whatever you want in the comments about where I put Tom and Jerry. I play them. I have friends like who I partner with all the time who play them. Like, so it's like just seeing what you have to deal with versus what you can be like to be dealt with. You know what you can do versus what you have to experience. It's a different world, man. I think Taz is also like here. He just feels super underwhelming, but he does have some stuff that I think is, like, potential-wise that might move him a bit higher, like his grab stuff, and, it just seems like Shu you never get to hit, but, like, he does have some loops. I've seen some of the clips, but a lot of that's one stuff, and, again, they're just simply as easier characters to play right now, so even if he has stuff, it doesn't matter that, like, he has it, you know? They're just simply better options to pick that kill earlier, which he doesn't, that like have shorter cooldowns, that have, you know, faster run speed, that have better like multi hits, whatever, you know. He's just kind of in the middle of the pack. I'm just gonna get out of the way. I haven't seen Jake, man. I haven't seen Jake. I just hear that he sucks, and like, is he good? I don't know. Like, is he like, I don't know, man. Stripes, he's like about here. I hear he has the infinite dynamite if you want to play super lame. I don't know how useful that's going to be in doubles. Maybe he's lower. Maybe he is actually back here. I'm traumatized from the beta, honestly. But this is where I've... Mid-tier. You know, he's a mid-tier. You don't see him often. He's not really cooking. He seems a lot harder from beta. They nerfed the guns, I think. And the saw, if I remember correctly. From beta. There probably is a lot more, but... I also think with Perry, projectile thing, he's one of those characters. Taz is one of those characters. Tom and Jerry and LeBron are those characters where it's like they're actually going to be kind of hurt from the projectile stuff. Like, enough, not like completely. They're not invalidated, obviously, but I just think that that's enough for them in terms of it affecting their playstyle, even in twos. And then finally, Marvin and Velma just suck. Not good. Even in doubles, they ain't good. So I don't even know what I want to say about him. Just Marvin doesn't work and was neutered, and even if he has stuff, I think he has more of a chance of living than her, but I don't think he's very good. He's light, you know, so he's gonna die to the stupid people super easily. He is small and he does have projectiles, but at the same time, like Perry, even though it's not an invalidation, I'm just saying, like, he suffers more of this than these characters do, even though they also deal with it. And then on top of that, these characters are these characters, and this character is Marvin, and this character is Velma, and they already struggle with it, you know. So overall, that's my 2v2s. MultiVersus tier list. My 1v1s will be releasing a day after this one does, so just stay tuned for what you think it'll be, and make sure to leave some comments on if you want to see more MultiVersus content. Like, I've always been planning on releasing more like platform fighter stuff generally, and I just haven't gotten around to it as quickly as I would have liked to. Not because I didn't want to, but because like I just like wasn't busy. You know, we're all busy. But yeah, I'll be releasing some stuff here or there for MultiVersus, and then eventually Combo Devils, and I have some other non-NASB and non-MultiVersus platform fighter content eventually. It's just taking forever, man. I'm sorry, but we'll be there eventually. So if you're excited for that stuff, let me know in the comments. And we're so close to 1,000 subscribers, so please support us for free. And my webcam froze, so that's pretty awesome. But anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next video.